The dining hall buzzed with chatter and clinking cutlery. Uniforms shimmered under the warm light, medals glinting like small suns. In one quiet corner, a young woman balanced a tray of glasses, her hands steady, her eyes lowered. At the head of the room sat General Hawkins, proud, loud, his laughter echoing over every other sound. Around him, officers nodded, laughed, and agreed with everything he said. Power followed him like a shadow. When the waitress approached their table, the general didn't even look at her. He waved his hand impatiently. "Another round," he barked, then added with a smirk, "and maybe this time don't spill it like a rookie." A few officers chuckled. The waitress froze for half a second, but her voice stayed calm. "Yes, sir. Before I tell you what happened next, like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Valley. Tell me where you're watching from." She turned to go, her shoes silent on the polished floor. But as she walked away, a glass slipped from her tray. Just one. It hit the floor, shattered, water spreading like silver veins. The hall went quiet. The general's chair scraped the floor. He stood, voice rising. "Can't even hold a glass? Pathetic." His words carried through the room like a whip. Officers stopped eating. Soldiers turned their heads. The waitress bent down, gathering shards carefully. Her hands trembled just slightly. "I'm sorry, sir," she whispered. "Sorry?" The general's laugh was sharp. "You think an apology fixes incompetence? You're lucky I don't have you thrown out." She said nothing, only picked up the last piece of glass, wrapped it in a napkin, and stood upright again. Her eyes for a brief second met his. They weren't angry, just steady. That calm gaze made him uncomfortable, though he didn't know why. He turned away. "Get out of my sight," he muttered. She walked out quietly, leaving the murmurs of discomfort behind her. Some officers looked down at their plates ashamed. Others said nothing. The air felt heavier after she left. An hour later, the main doors opened again. The room stood at attention, every officer on their feet. The base commander had arrived. A man in a sharply pressed uniform, tall and calm, his presence commanding silence. General Hawkins stiffened, adjusted his jacket. "Commander, sir, we weren't expecting—" But the commander didn't respond. His eyes swept the room once, then stopped, right at the young waitress who had just returned with a new tray. Head slightly bowed. For a long moment, he looked at her, then back at the general. "General Hawkins," he said quietly, "may I speak to you outside?" The two men stepped into the corridor. The sound of distant thunder rolled through the evening sky. The commander's voice was low but firm. "I heard what happened here an hour ago." The general hesitated. "Just a clumsy girl, sir." "No harm done? Clumsy girl?" The commander's tone sharpened, still quiet but cutting through the air. "That girl happens to be my sister." The general froze. Words vanished. The corridor seemed to shrink around him. The commander continued. "She took this job to help our mother after her surgery. She's been working double shifts for weeks, and while you sat here mocking her, she was carrying trays heavier than your medals." The general's face paled. I didn't know." "That's the problem," the commander said softly. "Men like you never know. You look down, but never look into people." He took a step closer. "Respect isn't given to rank. It's earned by character. And right now, yours is smaller than the glass she just cleaned off the floor." The general's lips parted, but nothing came out. The sound of his own breathing filled the space. The commander looked toward the door where his sister now stood, silently watching, expression unreadable. "She won't hold it against you," he said. "But I will remember." He turned, walking back into the dining hall. The general followed slowly, every step heavier than the last. When they re-entered, the commander gestured for his sister to come closer. She approached quietly, tray still in hand. The commander spoke to the room. "We all wear uniforms of different kinds, but dignity is the same for everyone. Remember that before you speak." The silence was deep, respectful now. The general lowered his head. For the first time in years, he didn't feel tall. He cleared his throat, his voice low. "Miss, I owe you an apology." She looked at him, then at her brother. "You don't owe me anything, sir. Just treat the next person better." And with that, she turned and walked away. Steady, graceful, untouchable. The general stood there, his pride cracked open, replaced by something unfamiliar. humility. The commander watched quietly, saying nothing more. Sometimes silence is the strongest reprimand. Later that night, the general sat alone in his office. On his desk lay a single napkin, the same one that had wrapped the glass shards. Written on it, in neat handwriting, "Respect is not a favor. It's a reflection of who you are." He folded it carefully, placed it in his pocket, and exhaled, long and deep. Never judge people by the uniform they wear or the job they do. True rank is shown in how you treat others when no one is watching. If this story moved you, like, comment, share your thoughts with Kindness Valley, and subscribe for more untold stories.